here and one side goes to here, that's obviously positive, right? If they both go to about the same spot, or if they go all the way to your rear end, that's obviously negative, okay? Ways to stretch that. Again, depending on how flexible she is, depending on what her problem is. If she has a back issue, we're not really going to want her twisting back. If she doesn't have much of a back issue, she can twist back. She can also take a belt, put it over here, that way we don't have her twist, so she can kind of bring it over her shoulder. I'm super tight, so I don't have great balance. But you could do something like this, right? Where I sit back. That gives me a stretch. I can do it on my own. I can grab it and pull up. All of those are self-stretch type of things for home. Go to your back for me for a second. We've done this one too many times, so if you miss this one, I'm liable to run out of the room. But it's a hamstring, right? It's just here,
99.
here, there. She's right at the verge of being a positive, meaning she's probably around 20 there. Again, it depends on if I thought that was important to her treatment, if I would call that positive or not, right? It's certainly not no negative, it's not at 0. Obviously, I can measure it. If it's here, that would be strictly really positive. I can compare both sides. What I really want to watch for is her other leg. If you're really tight, if you were doing this test with me, I would want that leg to be coming up. That's where it becomes a problem, because you almost have to hold my leg down here while keeping it 90 degrees while stretching it out, all right? So stabilization becomes an issue, all right? Hamstring length test or self-stretch, they can do it on their own. Grab a hold behind like this, and then they can just kick their leg forward. They could take a belt around their foot and lift it up. They could stand, put their foot up on something. Again, the key here is that I have them hinge at their hips. Worst case scenario is you have them just bend over toward their toes. That has some back implications. Probably do that for a younger, healthier person. Probably not the best way to stretch the hamstring, but it works at least. So there's some self-stretch ideas. Roll back to your stomach. Manual muscle testing. And again, for our purposes, we're going to do the hamstring in this position. It's not a perfect situation, because when I bend it to get my 3, when I get to 90 degrees and I go past, gravity's just helping me here, right? So really, it's not a perfect situation, but this is how we're testing. Go ahead and bend it all the way for me, and then let it down. That gives me a 3. I'm going to bring her back at 45 degrees. Stabilize. Don't let me push down. That gets me my 4 or 5, okay? Now the book does say, and again, I'm not going to want you to know it to quite this level. There is an ability to do the medial and lateral hamstring, right? If we want to do the medial hamstring, we do a little bit of internal rotation, right? And then my pressure is down and out. That stresses a little bit more here. So I'm kind of pushing, still trying to extend, but I'm pushing out, trying to get there. Or I can turn it into external rotation. I push down and in, trying to focus out here. When would I do that? I would do that, like I said, maybe if I had like a track athlete that had a strain or was getting repetitive strains, and my question was, does she have one side that's dominant over the other side? Again, I've done it a couple times in my career. Certainly something to just be aware of. On our test, we're going to simply say, hey, bend it up, hold it at 45, don't let me push it down. I'm not going to ask you to differentiate between the medial and lateral, just straight up hamstring stretch or hamstring length muscle test. Roll to your, where's that? So if we go to 1, where does your hamstring start? Where's its origin? What bones? Ischial tuberosity, your sit bone, right? Right in the middle of your butt. So we know we can palpate there. We know it comes down to either side, so we would palpate anywhere in the middle, and we could just have her try to bend her knee, and if it fires, we're going to be able to palpate it a little bit. 2 would be on your side. Again, my hand is here only for just support up, not necessarily helping back, and then she's just bending her leg back. That gets to the 2, right? Now, just so we get this done, quadricep, which is going to be our next one. This is also a 2 for quad in this same position, but instead of bending, I'm having her kick forward. So this is the same position, 2 for hamstring, 2 for quad. All right, got it? Let's have you sit up over the edge, because the next one we're going to do is quad. And it's simple as, if you kick forward, it's a 3, and then I'm going to just push. So we test kind of in the mid position here. Don't let me push back. That's your 4 or 5. Obviously, palpation is here. We just went over 1. or I'm sorry, we just went over 2. I will say with quad, probably more than any other muscle, I do a partial range of motion for a 2. Because it's important that they can extend against gravity as much as the other. So if she kicks up on that side, and then if she only were to kick up on this side to there, it's very easy to measure that and say she's minus, say, 35 degrees. So I would call that a 2. That's probably a little bit more functional than the whole laying down on your side and kicking thing. So me personally, again, for class, when I say let's do a 2, you're gonna lay them on the side and you're gonna have them kick. I'm just saying in life, that's used quite a bit as a 2, that partial range of motion kick. So let's do the length test and the strength test, and then we'll take a break.